Hello everyone, Josh and Amy from CaliforniaThroughMyLens.com. First off, thank you so much for exploring with us in 2018. It was awesome engaging with you guys in the comments and even meeting some of you in real life.
So before we jump into 2019, we'd like to share some adventures from our last year. Here's our top 10.
Our first adventure was in the early spring when we spent 4 days in Yosemite. Anytime we get the chance to spend time in Yosemite in the winter, we always take it. The park is amazing, especially with fresh snow, and there are usually not many tourists, so you can feel like you have the entire area to yourself. We went there to try and catch the firefall, but since it didn't happen, we just ended up exploring the park and hiking Yosemite Falls. This is one of those hikes I've always wanted to do, and even though it's a brutal uphill and downhill, it was an amazing adventure and one that I won't soon forget in California.
Adventure number 2 is spending a few days road tripping the Big Sur coastline. With the southern section closed for almost a year, we hadn't been back to Big Sur in quite a while. A trip we did took us up to Monterey, so we decided to head in from the north and explore our favorite Big Sur spots. Seeing Midway Falls, Lime Kiln, and Partington Cove again was amazing, as was getting to tour the Point Sur Lighthouse for the first time. Honestly, Big Sur is still one of our favorite spots in California.
Adventure number 3 was getting to spend more time in the caves of Lava Beds National Monument. Lava Beds National Monument is one of my favorite parks in California and one that most people often overlook. There are hundreds of caves in this park with over 30 that you can explore. I've only done 12 or so myself, but each time I go, I love trying to find new ones and getting to know the park better. It's way up at the top of California in Siskiyou County, but it's worth the effort to go to. My favorite cave to explore there is Skull Cave.
Adventure number 4 was off-roading in Ocotillo Wells. We had never ridden a Polaris off-road vehicle before, so when they invited us to explore Ocotillo Wells, we jumped at the chance. We spent the better part of a day zipping around the desert and exploring all the fun places that are off the beaten path. It was such a blast, and we can't wait to do it again. After getting back in our car, we raced over to Fonts Point and got to watch the sun go down from the lookout, which is one of our favorite spots for sunset in Southern California, and a perfect end to the day trip.
Adventure number 5 was getting to climb to the top of Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta was by far the most epic thing we did in 2018. After training for the better part of 3 months, Amy and I met up with Jeff from the SoCalHiker.net and John from Moosefish.com to take down this epic mountain. It was 2 days of grueling hiking with over 7,000 feet of elevation gain and full utilization of an ice axe and crampons. Reaching the summit was an amazing accomplishment though, and something I will never forget. Plus you get to glissade, also known as sliding on your butt, down the hardest part when you go back down. I wouldn't recommend that most people climb Mount Shasta, but it was an amazing adventure for Amy and I in 2018.
Adventure number 6 was our road trip up Highway 395 to June Lake. We love Highway 395. We brought some family and spent 4 days exploring from Mammoth and June Lake up to Lee Vining. We got to do a bunch of our favorite things like visit Devil's Postpile, take sunset photos at Hawk Creek, and explore Bodie, as well as some new favorites like kayaking on Mono Lake.
Adventure number 7 was spending a weekend exploring the Mendocino coast. Since we live in Southern California, we don't get up to the Mendocino area of Northern California as much as we would like. We spent 4 days here in the fall though and fell in love with the beautiful coastline and the fun small towns. Russian Gulch is one of the most stunning viewpoints I have been to in California, and Amy and I got to have a bunch of unique experiences like kissing a giraffe and riding on rail bikes. If you haven't explored this area, take a weekend trip up there.
Adventure number 8 was spending a few days backpacking in Lassen National Park. Lassen National Park is one of those spots that we always plan to visit, but don't often make it up to that portion of the state when it's not covered in snow. This year we made the effort to visit it and spend 3 days backpacking and exploring the park with our friend Wendy from Wild Beginnings Adventure Company. During the trip we hiked Lassen Peak, saw some geothermal areas, spent time at Sifford Lakes, and cooked some great food. It solidified our love for this park, and we can't wait to go back here more in the future.
Adventure number 9 was a few short days we spent in the summer in Lake Tahoe. To finish up a video I was doing on Lake Tahoe, I spent 2 days driving around the entire lake and visiting some of my favorite spots. I got to shoot sunrise at Emerald Bay State Park, which is something I've always wanted to do, and I got to take the Heavenly Gondola up to the top of the mountain and ride their mountain coaster. Lake Tahoe is just an amazing place to explore in the summer, and it's one of my favorite trips I went on this year.
Adventure number 10 was heading to San Francisco for Christmas. We always try to spend a weekend in San Francisco during the Christmas season, and this year was no different. The city just has so many fun things to do, from ice skating in Union Square to seeing the Fairmont Gingerbread House. We also got to go out to Angel Island and hike, which is something we had never done before and something that both of us loved. You can watch our video on this trip in the comments.
That's our favorite California adventures. If you want to see some of the things we did outside of California, you can go to my other channel where we have videos on Seattle, Salt Lake City, and Portland.
Thanks so much for exploring with us this year. Let us know what your favorite adventure was in the comments. We will see you guys in 2019.